Is KIMT News 3 at 6 in high definition.
Law enforcement is turning to technology to help them catch criminals.
But first this evening, we start with a developing story out of Mason City. Police have arrested 3 former employees at Mason City Ford for theft and ongoing criminal conduct. They believe 52-year-old Timothy Bem, 48-year-old Scott Bem, and 75-year-old John Bem were embezzling money while working at the dealership. Authorities have been investigating the accused theft since late last year after owners of the dealership made the report to police. All 3 are expected to be in court in early March. Also developing story is the ever-changing weather out there.
There is a lot to cover here. Chief Meteorologist Adam Frederick is in the Storm Team 3 Forecast Center to tell us more about an upcoming system that has a lot of people talking. Adam?
That's right. It's kind of been the talk of the town today. I've heard a lot of conversations about some of the amounts that have been forecasted that may have been heard in other areas. We'll take a look at our forecasted numbers in just a little bit. They're a little bit lower than you might think, and I'll explain why that's the case. But why don't we first off start by looking outside on our live eye in the sky in Clear Lake. If you look right below the banner there, actually, you see one kite skier having brought in his kite, but a few clouds out to the west will be making their way in later on. Checking out the temperature right now, not too bad, 36 degrees. That has helped to bump the surface temperature of some of the area roadways up 45 to 50 degrees, which is one clue of why we're going to be melting a little bit of that snow. And right now, a winter storm watch that goes until for tonight, late tonight, so about 3 a.m. in the morning as we go throughout the day on Thursday. And we'll be looking at seeing a little bit of that light snow, not returning right away. By midnight, we'll still be 32 degrees, mostly cloudy in Albert Lea. And starting off the day tomorrow, daybreak, light snow and 30 degrees. But I'll tell you how much snow we're forecasting and talk about other chances coming up in a few moments.
All right, Adam, thank you very much. Well, there are plenty of moments caught on camera. We bring them to you all the time. We've also got reality shows or even things that you've caught yourself on a camcorder. But that camera technology is actually proven to be a valuable tool for law enforcement.
KIMT News 3 Savannah Reading is in the newsroom for us this evening. And Savannah, how are officers actually using the cameras?
Sarah, law enforcement agencies all across the country have been using cameras in their vehicles for many years. What's new is the use of this small body camera like this one. But not everything about this little piece of equipment is positive. We're used to video cameras capturing scenes like this one. But now the technology is being used to document actions outside the car, like this body camera that filmed a standoff with a man carrying a knife at a Minnesota police station.
Drop that knife. The technology is getting better and less expensive because that's the thing you got to remember is it's one more tool that we can use for evidence.
These are the cameras that the Sheriff's Department in Sarasota County is using. They clip right on your clothing. So say I'm an officer and I get involved in a situation, you can see everything that I'm seeing. Sheriff Powell says the cameras are useful and have helped to clear up doubt in many situations, but there are still some concerns with the equipment.
I think another thing that's hurting law enforcement now with cameras that are available, people see this stuff on TV, and then when you come to a jury, they're expecting to see video evidence.
And Powell says that's not always the case. Sarasota County Attorney Carlisle Dalen agrees. He says there really is what's known as the CSI effect in the courtroom.
Juries always want to see a video. It's just part of having a jury trial anymore.
Dalen says many of his cases do have a video component to them. Most of the time they help paint a picture of what really happened on the scene. Dalen says they have been most helpful in proving Miranda rights were given in traffic stops and OWI cases.
Those cases are generally videotaped, and we have that to be able to look at and to see how they perform on those field sobriety tests.
And Sheriff Powell adds, even with the few concerns it brings, the new age tool has helped them do their job, putting bad guys away.
I think it's just the technology is part of the future.
Dalen tells me the best thing that can be done for these cameras to work in their favor is for law enforcement officers to know exactly how to use their equipment. Sheriff Powell says if juries don't get video evidence, sometimes that can hurt the case or make it seem like something is hidden. Both agree the unfortunate part is that sometimes there just isn't any video for an incident.
All right, makes sense. Thanks, Savannah. And Powell says the Sheriff's Department has a 100% track record when it comes to video backing up disputes brought up against his deputies.
And today is Ash Wednesday, meant to be a time of sacrifice and meditation. Christians around the world are recognizing the beginning of Lent today, but recently folks have been finding other ways to connect to their religion as well. And KIMT News 3's Beth Tuttle is live in Mason City with more on that. What are people doing for Ash Wednesday, Beth?
Well, Matt, right now, actually, services for Ash Wednesday are starting to begin right behind me at St. John's in Mason City. But if you weren't able to make it out to church tonight, those at the church tried to make it out with ashes to you this afternoon. Reverends from St. John's and First Presbyterian went to Southbridge Mall for an hour today and dusted followers who may have forgotten or, like I said, didn't have time to make it out to church. But these ashes to go are only one way things are changing. Online confessionals or apps are also becoming popular ways to get that religion on the go.
It doesn't surprise me that there is something like that is out there, just because of the rise of social media and the way that people interact anymore. Is a lot of it is through text messaging, Facebook.
Now, Father Schuler feels that this Ashes on the Go is good because it has human interaction, and that's a big part of religion. So he feels that it's something that really could catch on in the future.
Yeah, that's something an app really can't give you, the interaction. Thank you, Beth.
That's right.
Today we're also hearing about other churches in the U.S. providing a similar service. One in Illinois even brought ashes out to the car.
The president of an Eastern Iowa college is stepping down. Luther College President Richard Torgerson says he's ending his presidency in the summer of 2013. Now, during his leadership, he initiated 3 new major facilities, as well as renovations and updates to existing campus buildings. School leaders say Torgerson will have a lasting effect on the school.
We had major overhauls of our academic program. We've added majors. He did a great job leading fundraising efforts, and some of that allowed us to increase the endowment.
And Luther will now begin the process to replace Torgerson. They hope to have that process in full motion by this fall.
An internet phenomenon with Iowa ties is back for another season.
We are, of course, talking about that Decorah Eagle Cam. You're taking a live look right now, right there, at the Raptor Resource Cam right now in Decorah. The Eagles laid 1 egg on Friday night and yesterday and are expected to lay a 3rd tomorrow evening. KIMT News 3's Shane Delaney joins us now in Studio 3. And Shane, who doesn't really like watching these guys, right?
Yeah, Sarah, we were all watching in the newsroom earlier today, and it sure can be quite a work time distraction, but that's not just here. I'm sure that happens all over the place. And project leaders think this season will be just as big as last. This is mission control for one of the most popular internet links on the planet.
As soon as we got an egg, all of a sudden we started going from 3,000 to like 25,000, and yes, it's just growing by leaps and bounds. It'll probably be just as large as last year.
Bob Anderson is director of the Raptor Resource Project and never expected these Decorah eagles to attract so much attention.
It just doesn't involve terrorism, flooding, or wars, and it's just a feel good.
The Decorah Eagle Cam is the #1 most viewed live video of all time on the host site Ustream, and all that attention prompted Anderson to get better computers and faster connection speeds this year.
I think almost everybody's commenting on how the quality is so much better. It's almost high definition now this year compared to last year.
The Raptor Resource Project put its first camera in a nest nearly 20 years ago. Today they have 25 cameras in 6 different states, but Anderson explains the Decorah Cam is by far the most popular.
No matter where I travel, no matter what teacher I run into, they all use it in the classroom. That's pretty phenomenal. We've now become probably the largest wildlife education effort on planet Earth.
Last year, folks from around the world came to Decorah to see the nest.
It becomes their eagles, and then people really, they kind of adopt it. They have to come here physically and see the nest firsthand.
And with just 35 days separating the time an egg is laid until it hatches, Anderson expects it won't be long before people once again start coming to the Iowa town.
It is a huge amount of pressure on us, but it's also extremely rewarding to see it bring so much pleasure to so many people around the globe.
And Anderson says one question he gets asked the most is what happened to last year's baby eaglets? Well, last summer, for the first time, they put a satellite tracking system on one of the 3 birds. Anderson says it's traveled as far north as the Canadian border and as far south as Missouri. Sarah.
All right, thanks, Shane. And if you're interested, there are about 18,000 people online right now, and I'm told the eagle just moved the eggs around a little bit. Now, the Decorah Eagles will be on a popular TV game show this spring. Anderson says producers from Jeopardy say the video will be part of their May 21st show. You'll be able to watch that right here on KIMT. And to watch the Eagles live 24/7, you can head to our website, KIMT.com. We have a link to the Decorah Eagle Cam on this story under local news.
A big idea for an abandoned stretch of railroad continues to move forward, but slowly. Freeborn County has been granted an extension until July to negotiate land agreements with Union Pacific. The county wants to take about 13 miles of path from Albert Lea to Heartland and turn it into a new bike and walking trail. An appraisal for land acquisition will help commissioners determine how to move forward.
Arguably, for us, the 180-day initial period probably wasn't nearly enough. We were waiting on grants. And then once you get a grant, you have to do a number of things.
The county hopes to make the new trail part of a larger system that would connect east of Austin. They've been working with Union Pacific on this plan for more than a year now. One Area Hospital's new addition is now open, and so far folks have rave reviews.
Well, some local students aren't going to Cancun for their spring break. Instead, they're giving back by lending a helping hand. And here's what we're working on for 10. More and more cases of counterfeit bills are popping up in our area. How to make sure your hard-earned cash isn't fake. Plus, a local school district is put to the test. Are they getting a passing grade? Find out at 10. The new Mercy Medical Center North Iowa ER filled up quickly for its first official day. Staff members were busy giving emergency department patients into their new private rooms. They opened at 9 a.m. and had a good flow of people coming in. But hospital officials tell us overall things are going smoothly for the new check-in desk and more private and comfortable seating areas.
Busy as usual, and but we're tolerating it very well. The staff is prepared, patients are getting taken care of, and we've had some processes have all gone very smoothly so far.
And staff members tell us they are already hearing positive feedback about the brand new facility.
Some area college students are giving up their spring break to help others instead. About a dozen students from Waldorf College will be spending their spring break at Prairie Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. The group of students and staff will help with different tasks around the reservation, and they'll be learning as well.
We learn about the Indian culture, and they speak to us, and we tour the reservation and see the schools and all these neat things and have a great time with the Indian people. And so we grow a lot from this trip.
College leaders say the request for the trips came from the students. Staff and students will spend about 12 hours on the road to get to that reservation.
We are looking at some snow, but with some mild air that's going to make for a bit of a sloppy snow. I'll tell you when we're expecting it to come through in your full storm forecast. The temperatures outside really were pretty nice today and still pretty nice right now. We're storming through Lysette and Riceville, 36 degrees of the temperature after topping out at about 45. Some fairly calm winds. Things are going to be a bit different for tomorrow. Let's take a look at the calm weather outside right now on our Albert Lee live eye in the sky. Some fairly cloudy weather has returned to the region. The winds will be picking up and blowing in some snow for tomorrow. Now, we are going to be talking about some snowfall numbers that may be a little bit lighter than what you've heard from some other sources, and here's a little bit of a reason why. First off, we've been looking at a storm. All of our meteorologists have agreed that, with ground temperatures of about 45 to 50 degrees, that's going to melt some of that snow. Even if it does cool down for tonight, subsurface temperatures still are sitting at about 36 degrees right on the Iowa-Minnesota border, so that's going to help keep those numbers a little bit lower. The lows are going to be just below freezing, so it means that the snow is not going to be a real dry, fluffy snow. It's going to be a little bit of a wetter snow. And then tomorrow, from about, say, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., we're going to be seeing high temperatures at or above freezing, so you could also call it the melting point of what you're going to be seeing that snow. So that's one of the reasons why those numbers will be just a little bit lower. Your weather almanac for the day, we'll quickly take a look. A little trace of snowfall earlier today. Highs across northern Iowa, mid-40s, upper 30s. Across southern Minnesota, close to 40, lows into the mid-20s. Now, the temperatures across the area right now sitting into the mid-30s to a few upper 30s across North Iowa, and the temperatures will be dropping slowly, but still plenty of warm air to the south, and we'll actually bring a little bit of that warm air in overnight, keeping things pretty mild. Temperatures still near 60 degrees in Kansas City. Now, looking out to the northwest, we already can see some of that rain and snow, but that looks like it's tracking off to the southeast, and it looks like the majority of that may also be missing our area, and we'll take a look at that with your Skycast in a moment. Your 3D weather flight shows this low pressure system. That's the Alberta Clipper. It's going to be sliding off to the southeast, and some of the latest trends are indicating that it may be dropping off to our southwest. Now, tonight we'll end up seeing a few clouds across the area. Now, tomorrow you can see by about 6 a.m. some of that snow starting to enter parts of our viewing area. As it continues off to the south and east, we'll see that snow especially across the southern counties of our viewing area before it ends up tapering off as we go late in the day for tomorrow. Now, in your overnight detailed storm activity forecast, cloudy skies, rain snow mix developing late, lows into the lower 30s. We'll see winds becoming southerly at 4 to 9 miles per hour. Then for tomorrow, a little bit of light snow and breezy. Highs are going to be into the mid-30s. We'll end up seeing winds becoming northwest at about 11 to 22 miles per hour. So any snow that we have falling, blowing around with those strong winds will be creating a visibility issue, and then snow ending tomorrow night lows into the mid-20s. Now here's a look at what we were looking at for snowfall numbers. This is before looking at that trend going farther southwest. This may be changing here. You can see that we were expecting those numbers to be tallying up there as we go throughout the afternoon into the upper 1-inch range to about 3 inches at times, but we'll reevaluate this before the 10 o'clock newscast, and if that trend continues to look like it will be dropping off to the southwest, we will be updating those snowfall numbers. A few flurries then on Friday, temperatures in the upper 20s, lower 30s on Saturday. Sunday we'll end up seeing a few flakes of snow possible with that system mainly going off to our north, and then some snow possible south on Tuesday. So once again, we could have a system go to our south, then to our north, then to our south. We miss out on the majority of it. That's the way this winter's been, but we'll keep a close eye on all of those, let you know if there's any changes.
The waiting game ahead.
That's right.
All right. We'll be right back with sports.
Mason City's Hannah Jones will be wrapping up her high school basketball career in the best way possible. Jones and the Mohawks punched their ticket to state last night. As Matt Bierman shows us, while Hannah is an under-the-radar player, the Mohawks wouldn't be heading to Des Moines without her.
Growing up, Hannah Jones wasn't much of a basketball fan.
Definitely a soccer player.
Yeah.
But dreams change, I guess.
But then she started hooping it up with many of the same Mohawks she does now. And as they say, the rest is history.
Growing up, because I was on a traveling team, and I just loved my team so much. I miss it still. It was probably the funnest, 5 years of my life, honestly. Basketball grew on me during that time.
Many of the girls on the team have nicknames, and that goes for Hannah, too.
We're thinking about making t-shirts like the iPod, and she's going to be I Sleep because she naps all the time.
The senior does just fine when out on the floor, averaging 6 points a game. She's also third on the team in rebounds. But buzzing around on defense for the number 3 team in the state is what she says she takes pride in.
I've always been told I'm a really good defensive player compared to offense, I guess. So I just try to do the best I can on defense and offense, but I think that's where I stand out in defense more.
She's a really great defensive player, and my coach says, defense wins games. So, if she gets out there and plays great defense, you can't win a game without great defense, and she's a definite contributor to that.
It wasn't all that long ago that making it to state seemed more like a dream than a reality for Mason City. Now that the Mohawks have that barrier broken, it's something Jones says she'll remember for the rest of her life.
It's really exciting. Mixed emotions, though. It's my last year. Just want to do the best we can.
If you know of an athlete like Hannah that will do whatever she can for the team, we'd like to meet them. There's a nomination form for our next Student Athlete of the Week on the sports page at KIMT.com. Kyle Ohms is now the 4th Albertley boys basketball player to surpass the 1,000 career point mark. Ohms scored 21 points in last night's loss at Rochester Century. Kyle's about 700 points behind the Tigers' all-time leading scorer, Ben Woodside. Ohms, the Tigers, will be back at home Friday for a game against Winona. They have 3 games remaining in the regular season. The Iowa State men's basketball team has only won 10 league games 3 times in history. Tonight, the Cyclones are going for win number 10 in the Big 12 against the Texas Tech team they beat by 24 earlier in the year. Tonight, the Cyclones and Red Raiders will tip off at 8 from inside Hilton Coliseum. The Cyclones are tied for 3rd in the Big 12, while Texas Tech resides in last. Despite the mismatch on paper, Iowa State says they're focused on the task at hand.
I expect them to come in here and play extremely hard, like Billy Gillespie teams do. They'll really try to defend us. We just need to play our game and try to get stops.
This is the first time that it's been February 20th since I've been here, and, Iowa State has been, relevant in college basketball. This is what you dreamed of as a kid, having a chance to, be part of a team that goes to the NCAA tournament.
It's going to be a busy night for quite a few of our region's teams. Iowa State, Minnesota, and UNI are all at home in conference games. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll catch up with the Mason City girls bowling team. The Mohawks are on their way to Plaza Lanes in Des Moines for tomorrow's first day of the state tournament. Mason City has the 4th highest qualifying score in the state. We will hear from them tonight at 10. I tell you what, it's going to be an easy night compared to the rest because there's no postseason basketball tonight. We'll start back again tomorrow. Let's just watch some college basketball tonight and have some fun.
That sounds like a good idea.
Nice,
Let's do that. Thanks, AJ. We'll be right back. So it's sounding like, despite all we may have heard, this snow really might not amount to much.
That's kind of what things are looking like. Now, it still has some of that potential, which is why we have that winter storm watch out. But we are looking at that tracking farther south, and depending upon just how far south it tracks will determine how much we're going to drop those numbers if we do by 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll have a very latest forecast for you tonight at 10.
All right, tune in. We'll see you then.